The announcement of a temporary reduction in the fuel levy has been welcomed by the agricultural industry. The sector has been overwhelmed by cost pressures. To tell us more, I'm joined by senior agricultural economist Paul Makube. Mr. Makube, thank you very much for joining us this evening. So we're heading into an increased period of mechanised processes as farmers prepare to harvest summer crops and others prepare the soil for planting of winter crops. And this naturally means increases in fuel usage. And of course, coupled with skyrocketing prices of essential inputs, farmers are feeling the pinch. What does the reduction in the fuel levy mean in practical terms?
Good evening and thanks for having me. Yes, the reduction in the fuel levy is the welcome relief for producers as we head into both the winter planting season and the harvest season for the summer crops, where increased activity in terms of utilization of fuel is at its highest, and the reduction means that the farmers can, stock up the necessary, supplies for those activities at a little bit of a reduced cost, although it's temporary. And the positive news is that indications are that they're looking forward beyond the current period of about 2 months to look at further relief to both the consumers and the rest of the economy.
So as you said, it is temporary. It's only 2 months. While any relief is welcome, is this relief significant enough to make an impact on farmers?
Well, any kind of accommodation is welcome. I mean, this comes on the back of no increase in the fuel levy. Normally we have an increase every year. There was no increase, so there was budgetary accommodation this year, and then this relief of 450 is significant enough. But we understand that there are constraints, especially where external factors are involved in terms of the price of crude oil and also the movement in the rand-dollar exchange rate. But any kind of reduction is welcome, for farmers, given the very, high input costs that we are facing. The high, crude oil prices have an impact on the agrochemicals that are derivatives of crude oil, and we import a lot. About 80% of our requirements for fertilizer is imported, and the prices have been very, very high. So that reduction is a welcome relief for producers. And it's also important that we mention that farmers are actually price takers in this environment, and therefore they've got a limited ability to actually pass on costs. So costs are passed on elsewhere. So it is quite a welcome relief for the farmers.
So there are also looming changes to the structure of fuel price determination. But in South Africa, we're naturally sceptic of good news at the pumps. A 20-cent reduction on one day is, met by a R1.20 increase on the next. So what can farmers expect in coming months?
Yeah, well, we hope that the new measures that are going to be put in place beyond the 2 months temporary relief that we're seeing, they will be significant enough to actually absorb the shock for the farmers in a very high cost environment, and that will be welcome. But we also welcome recent developments around negotiations in the Russia-Ukraine war that possibly could end the current stalemate in the short term and see prices returning to normality on the international market.
Well, thank you very much for speaking to us. That was senior agricultural economist Paul Makube.